Thank you to all to being here today. I would like to present the research within the project that we made together with the Metameta, the British Geological Group, and also Addis Ababa University. And is part of the project improving access to safe drinking water, prospection for low fluoride sources, and is as well part of the research program of the UPGROW. So the contents of my presentation. So I will make a brief introduction about the problem of fluoride in general of the world and its health consequence. Then I will talk a bit of the material and methods of the research, water policies and regulation. And then I will talk more specifically about the cost, benefit and vulnerability analysis of multiple water supply schemes. And sorry, I'm wrong here. It's not multiple water supply schemes. It's one multiple water supply schemes and the other one the fluoridization scheme. And then I will make some discussion and conclusion. So as I said before, fluoride is present in nature in a high quantity, and yeah, under certain condition in surface and groundwater can lead can be also toxic for a human being. But as I said also before, in low condition, it can really help for the developing of bones, and on the contrary, it can also it can also be good for developing to avoid carie. On the other side, we have also to see that high concentration of fluoride, in particular, nowadays we have the one of the World Health Organization set as 1.5 milligrams per liter, can lead to skeletal and dental fluorosis. There are two biochemical diseases that they occur in a lot of parts in the world. In fact, as you can see from this map, there are a lot of parts in the world where you have concentration of fluoride that they exceed 1.5 milligrams per liter, and one of these one is in the Rift Valley and in Ethiopia. So like the UNESCO estimated there are 200 million of people that they are at risk to developing skeletal fluorosis and dental fluorosis. There are physical effects of dental and skeletal fluorosis. In particular, dental fluorosis. I mean, you can see really in the teeth of the people living in this area, relying on high on fluoride on water with high fluoride concentration. But as well as skeletal fluorosis. Skeletal fluorosis, it is affecting the developing of bones of people, and it can really lead to difficult immobilities in a early age, and as well it can cause also neurological problems in the future. This is a physical consequence, but as well this fluorosis it has also social and economical consequence. In particular, it has been also shown by different research, and we could also see during our field work that it can really be an aesthetic problem for people living in this area, because they are ashamed to present themselves, and so in particular for women, it could also lead to difficulties in getting married, or anyway in being marginalized from societies where this aspect is not really common. On the other side, the developing of skeletal fluorosis, it can lead to early retirement, as Professor Redder, for instance, showed in his previous research. Yeah, this map also was being shown by Professor Seifu, and it shows like the places where there are a lot of wells with high fluoride contents. In particular, the red one. They are this one in the center. So it has been there are a lot of research that they say that 8 million of people are at risk to developing the fluorosis. and over 40% of shallow and deep wells are contaminated up to 26 milligrams per liter of fluoride. There is also the prevalence of dental fluorosis is above 80% in these areas where people rely on drinking water with high fluoride concentration. And skeletal fluorosis is a bit harder to understand what are the estimation of people at risk, because it has really a wide symptoms, so it's not really easy to correlate its physical effect and its consequences necessary to only fluoride contents, to high fluoride contents. So in Ethiopia's Central Rift Valley, the main source of high fluoride concentration is due to the basaltic rocks present in the groundwater, but also there are other variables and other sources of fluoride or other variables that they actually influence the vulnerability to dental and skeletal fluorosis. For instance, one of the sources of fluoride is of fluoride intake is also food. And it has been also shown that, in particular by Professor Sushila in India, and her research, that calcium intake and also vitamin intakes can actually help to reduce the exposure to dental and skeletal fluorosis. Moreover, it also depends to the health status of the people, and furthermore to the health status, but as well related to the climate and the exposure, how many years these people that has dental or skeletal fluorosis have been exposed to high fluoride water concentration. There is also another study that has been done by Frank van de Stemberg, and it was showing that also in areas where there is high fluoride content, actually the exposure to this dental and skeletal fluorosis is different. So we have really to look not only at the main source, they have to look also at the different source of drinking water that people has. So maybe it's not only from groundwater, but as well from, for instance, the drinking water collected by rainwater harvesting technique. Now coming to how to deal with high presence of fluoride in groundwater. There are being developing different kind of technology. I'm sorry, I hope that you can see this table. Yeah, they have different kind of science, they have different kind of structures, and it's not, there is like absorption, precipitation method, coagulation, membrana process, but the main two used in the context of developing countries, let's say, is Nalgonda and bone char. These, in general, these technologies that they are the most used in this context, because they have a bit less costly than others. They still have problems that they are common to all of them, such as high cost of power, expensive of chemicals, operation and management cost, regeneration cost, sophisticated accessory, and also one of the things to take in consideration is the social acceptance from the people, at the community level. So the two main fluoride mitigation program implemented in the Rift Valley at the fluoridization scheme is the Nalgonda one, and the other one is bone char. Nalgonda is been designed, this structure by NERI in India. NERI is the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, and Nalgonda method uses the process of aluminum sulfate based on coagulation and flocculation sedimentation processes, and where the dosage is designed to ensure fluoride removal from the water. In Ethiopia, under the Fluorosis Mitigation Project, it was promoted by UNICEF and also by the Federal Water and Energy Ministry. And this Nalgonda method has been piloted in several communities. Furthermore, there are some NGOs that they are as well using these methods, such as the Catholic Relief Service that implemented this method since 2005, and also some other NGOs, international NGO, they tried to use this method as well. While on the other side, we have Bonchar. Bonchar is a locally produced filter, is using bones collecting from local butcheries, mainly from cows. And here in the Rift Valley, it has been implemented by OSHA. Also is a local NGO presented locally in the Rift Valley, but it has also being supported and financed by the Swiss and British Fund and supported by the HEOVAG, the Aquatic Swiss Institution Center. And they have a production center of these bones in near Adama. On the other side, we have instead safe sourcing. Safe sourcing that means multiple village water supply schemes, and it's been mainly promoted by the regional government, such as the Oromia Water and Energy Bureau, and as well the one of the southern nation, and it aims to deliver fluoride-free water in the central Rift Valley. So what I did was making this cost-benefit vulnerabilities analysis between the fluoridization and the safe sourcing schemes. And the main aim was, from one side, to improve the understanding and the opportunity to understand what is the current situation of fluoride mitigation program in the Ethiopian Central Rift Valley, but also that this research can be also used to inform decision making on which strategy could be used. So a bit of explanation about the water access in the area, in the study area, the central Ethiopian Central Rift Valley. So we have a lot of lakes such as Sigwag Lake, then also rivers. The surface water contributes to 30% to annual water balance, and we have also the groundwater contributes to the other 68% of annual water balance. Also, only 48% of rural population have access to a reliable water supply, and it's important to mention as well that according to the WASH inventory, about 50% of rural population in Oromia region have access to safe drinking water. That means the other 50%, of course, they don't. And according always to this this WASH inventory, we saw that the 70% of this functionality is it's not they actually work. So we use as material methods, like I did before, in extensive literature research on fluoride and like interviews with different stakeholders in Addis Ababa, but as well non-governmental and no-profit stakeholders, and also field work to visit all the water offices that they have multiple water supply schemes. At the moment, there are 5 different multiple water supply schemes present in the regions, and I went also to visit the implementation of Nalgonda and Bonchar. There are several policies and regulations that they are promoted by the Ethiopian government to enhance safe drinking water. You can read it here on the slide. However, there is not like a specific accepted standard nationally wise, but mainly all the actors, stakeholders involved in fluoride mitigation program, they are using the WGO guidelines. The Ethiopian government raises the threshold to 3.5 milligrams per liter, so in some way accepting the degree, a certain degree of dental and the skeletal fluorosis. So the study areas is, as I said before, in the main Central Rift Valley, and And there are at the moment 5 multiple water supply schemes: the Adama, Meki, ZY, Sara Bulbula Shiraro, and Shashamane and Arsinegelle. And then there are also there are also the fluoridization scheme both for Nalgonda and Bonchar. So regarding the cost, benefit, and vulnerabilities analysis, so I would like to say that yes, in the Ethiopian the scheme visited included 6 community bonchar implemented by Yosho, 2 Nalconda schemes implemented by the Catholic Relief Service, and also 2 non-functional scheme by the LVA, that is an NGO. Multiple water supply schemes in the Ethiopian Central Rift Valley, as is possible to see from these tables. These are the characteristics. They've been developed in different years, and they have all pretty much different source of water. For instance, Adama, that has also an extension to Wonjensho, was implemented in 2002, but then the extension line was made in 2006 to also reach with free fluoride water also the Wonjensho town. Then here we have the investment cost. So in particular, for this point, the indicator used to calculate cost are initial investment cost, operational and maintenance, storage capacity of the scheme, treatment capacity, and raw and treated water tariff. The variables used for the calculation are initial investment, operational cost, profit, and investment. Yeah, it was not really easy to collect this data on the cost of individual multiple water supply, because yeah, it was not easy to access to this systematic and standardized financial report. Adama required the largest investment cost due to probably for the extension of the Bonji line, and also because of the treatment plan. I'm sorry, I have to go a bit like faster to not to make it in time. Instead, here they reported the main vulnerabilities of the schemes. As you can see, there are a lot of water shortage per weeks, and like all the mainly all the problems reported by these multiple water supply schemes are yeah, leakages, problem of operational and maintenance cost, increased cost of chemicals, and as was also shown in the previous slide, we can see that the multiple water supply scheme, that they rely on surface water, so they have to treat their water, then they have a higher cost of operational and maintenance cost, but not always they are being reflected on the water tariff. Then like the benefits of multiple water supply scheme is that actually a lot of people, they are benefiting by free fluoride drinking water, in particular in Adama for 100,000 people, plus for external cables, and in Shashamane for 1,000 people, plus for other cables. On the other side, we have the fluoridization schemes, Nalgonda, Bonchar at the household level and the community level. What I can say, and this I will go at the end, mainly to show you these tables that compare Bonchar and Nalgonda method and multiple water supply schemes. As you can see from the table, is that I mean, the Bonchar and Nalgonda, they have, yes, technical issues at the management level to be implemented, but on the other side, I had the opportunity to see that NGOs such as Catholic Relief Service, but as well Osho, they introduce also methods to really engage the community in supply free fluoride drinking water. On the other side, multiple water supply schemes, they have an extensive and higher, they reach more people. So they have also, of course, problem of operation and maintenance cost, but on the other side, they are, of course, the one that they are able to supply free fluoride water to more people. I would like to come back to the conclusion, and I'm sorry if I didn't really pay attention or highlight the cost-benefit analysis of the defluoridization scheme. But if you have any question, you can ask me. There are different lessons that can be learned about these studies. It's important to develop large water supply schemes, and because we really saw that has a lot of potential also to supply free fluoride water to 50 million of people that are living in the Ethiopian Central Rift Valley. However, some advice needed to be taken in consideration, such as the fact that maybe a more holistic and management should be actually being created. And it is that also the community defluoridization scheme can be developed within isolated communities that they cannot be reached or connected by the larger water supply schemes. So in absence of closer multiple water supply schemes. And the third one is that the capacity of NGO to connect it with local institutions is really decisive for the long-term sustainability of the community level defluoridization scheme. Fourth, is that community level defluoridization scheme are not profitable, and that running costs of the purchase of the expensive of chemicals, for instance, in the case of the Nalgonda, and also water sampling and replacement of filters, such as in the Bonchar, still have to be subsidized by external agencies, such as NGOs. And then, we have to understand that the current strategy in place to deal with high fluoride concentration is important, but it's important also to understand the distribution of fluoride in groundwater. And yes, there are great efforts that are being made by the government to supply free fluoride water, but on the other side, with also water schemes and the Nalgonda, for instance, for the Nalgonda methods, but is also needed to be carried out in a more integrative way. The last one is that communication between all the stakeholders involved in the fluoride mitigation program, it needs to be improved. So thank you for listening, and if you have any question, please do it.